Hello everyone, Jacquie Edwards here, back again for live at lunchtime. I have been gone for about the last week and a half. I was just visiting my family in the US for Thanksgiving, but just back in the UK now. We got in about midday yesterday. Luckily, I was able to stay home and relax. My poor partner Anthony had to immediately rush off to the office as soon as we got in, and then that same night he headed back to the airport and flew to Norway for some business. So I am at least at home and able to do a little bit of relaxing, although as there is any time I go on holiday, I feel like there's a lot to do when I get back. There's a lot of catching up to do. I always go with the best intentions of staying on top of email and getting all this extra work done, but it definitely didn't happen quite as much as I wanted to this time. But I had a wonderful holiday. I got to spend lots of time with my family, and it was great and refreshing. Now I'm fighting the jet lag to get everything done on time and get ready to finish up 2016. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about heating, because when we got home yesterday, the house was really cold. So we don't have anything fancy at home. We've just got a normal thermostat, but it's quite new and it's got a holiday setting. So we set the holiday setting and said we'll be gone for, I think it was 7 days, something like that. So theoretically the heating should have been nice, warm and toasty when we got in yesterday, but it was absolutely freezing. I had a little look and it said everything was fired up and trying to run. So I said, oh, maybe it'll just take a little while for the radiators to warm up. A couple hours later, I realized it still wasn't warm, and I had a look at our boiler, and our boiler was broken. I guess not completely broken, but had a nice little error message that said the pressure was low. So this is a problem I immediately thought that we have at lots of our properties. So we regularly have low pressure issues, and all it needs is a quick top up. And I said, oh, I know how to do this because I've learned how at my properties. Again, before I ever started managing properties, no idea how to deal with boilers, any kind of issues like that. But because I've had to learn, because this happens really regularly at all of our HMOs, I said, all right, I know what to do. So I tried turning all the little switches I could find to see if I could get the boiler pressure to top up, and of course I couldn't. So luckily we still rent our own property that we live in, so I called our kind of manager and told her, oh no, the house is freezing. We've just got this simple problem. It's only a 5-minute job. Can you get somebody over to help us? And luckily the guy that installed our boiler recently was able to give me a call back and show me how to top the boiler up. So we were able to sort out our heating issues quite quickly. Sometimes with our properties it's not quite as easy as that. So it's really important that we've found to have a good kind of plumbing and heating technician or engineer that you can call and sort out issues quickly. So I think the week before I went on holiday, we had a problem where the heating wasn't working at one of the properties. This was absolutely amazing because we've got a notice board at our property and it has what to do in an emergency, and one of the emergencies is if you have no heating, and it gives the phone number of our engineer. This is probably one of the first times it's happened, but one of the tenants actually followed the procedure on that emergency board and they called the engineer directly themselves. So that was excellent. The engineer, it was in the evening, of course, when the tenants came home from work. So the engineer went out that evening, realized that the thermostat was actually broken, and was able to sort it out. So that was a great solution. The tenants were happy. They had their heating back up again. We were happy because, we didn't really have to get involved. The engineer just took care of everything. And now the next step for that property is because it was the thermostat that was broken, we've got to replace that thermostat. In most of our properties, we have the Hive thermostats. This is the British Gas smart thermostat that kind of syncs to the internet, so you can look at the temperatures and control everything via an app on your phone. I wish I had this at our own house. I've been thinking of getting it, but I just can't get myself to spend the money on our own property, especially as it's a rented property. But we have got it at all of our rental properties. So these are all HMOs. And the smart thermostat is, I see it as a huge kind of heating efficiency upgrade. because we pay all of the bills at our HMOs, we want to make sure that the kind of costs stay in a reasonable range, that the heating, because most tenants, as soon as you say all bills are included, they're happy to turn it up to 30 degrees, leave it on all day, whether they're home or not, and if they get too hot, they just open the window rather than turning the heating down. So to kind of avoid this happening all the time, we've got the smart thermostats. And this means that we can constantly check in, make sure that the settings are normal, that they've got it set onto a schedule, and if they do turn it to manual, we can switch it back to the schedule. Because we do believe that the tenants should have control of their heating. It is illegal, I think, to kind of block it so that they can't control the temperature. So we don't do that. They do have full control over the thermostat, because sometimes we've got tenants that want to work from home, whereas most of the time during the day we've got the temperature turned down. But if they're working from home, it's great. They might want to switch it to manual so that the heating's on while they're there. But a lot of times they forget to turn it back off or set it back to the schedule after that. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, my virtual assistant logs into the Hive app and just makes sure that all the properties are set back to their schedule, and that their schedule is kind of the standard schedule that we've set for all the properties. This way we make sure that the heating isn't getting crazy and out of control, and that we're keeping everything easy and efficient. So we use the Hive thermostats from British Gas. There are other options. We've found that Hive is just the easiest for us now, because that's the one we started with, because we used to get the British Gas landlord insurance on our properties, and I was able to negotiate a couple of good deals for our first few thermostats. So we get the Hives. I was just looking at switching, because there are a couple of options that I think are better for landlords. I haven't used any myself, but I think it's called Inspire. I've heard is really great, and it has a great landlord panel for managing multiple properties, whereas with Hive you can only manage one property at a time, so you have to log in, manage that property, log out, and log into the next property. Whereas with some of them, they do have a dashboard where you can have multiple properties and see them all at once. I was going to switch, but we've already got a system in place for managing all of the Hives. I looked at Inspire, and they were just switching over to kind of their newest model, so they didn't have loads of the old model left, and some of the new models weren't shipping out quite yet. And I needed a new one right away for the property with the broken thermostat. So I decided to go with Hives and stick with them for all the new properties that we took on this year. And luckily, Hive just had a 30% off sale on Amazon for Black Friday. If you're watching this live, and right now, I think the sale is still going. I think all of this week they're having their Cyber Monday sales or whatever it is now after Thanksgiving. So I haven't checked yet, but there might still be on sale. I think they were 30% off. So £183, including installation. It says you can install them yourselves. It's supposed to be quite easy. We tried to have my handyman do it at the last property, but he said it was too hard for him. It depends how old your current kind of system and thermostat is and how easy it is. So it's probably just easiest to have kind of the British Gas Hive engineer install it. It's a fixed fee, and so if it takes them a long time, you've only paid one set fee and they'll get it installed. So we've got 7 of those ordered, so that we'll be rolling those out at the newest properties we've taken on over the next few weeks. It is a little bit late because we'll be in December already and quite into the Christmas period, but we've just been catching up on all these new properties. So we do have them for all of our old properties, and it makes it really easy for us to just monitor what the heating is like and make sure that it's not getting too excessive. But the tenants still have full control over what their heating is, so they can access their thermostat. We also some of our tenants have different hours, so we've got some shift workers so that get up at kind of 4:30 in the morning. So we do set their schedules. If they've sent us an email, we can set their schedules so that their heating turns on a bit earlier and has different time settings. So we like to make sure it's flexible for our tenants, but that we can have some control, so we know it's not on 30 degrees 24 hours a day. So I I hope you found that interesting. Carl brought it home to me when I got home and there was no heating at our house. But luckily, as of right now, all of our tenants have heat and we're all under control with our smart thermostats. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow. I think it's Thursday tomorrow. I'm a bit lost with all the days. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.